I need you to understand something before this story starts. David Phillips did not break a single law. He did not hack a computer. He did not forge a document. He did not lie to anyone. He did not bribe anyone. He did not find a loophole that a judge later closed. He read the fine print of a grocery store promotion, did some arithmetic, and legally transferred $800,000 in airline travel from 3 of the largest corporations in America into his family's frequent flyer accounts. The lawyers at Conagra, one of the biggest food companies on earth, went through every word of their own promotion looking for a way to stop him. They found nothing. Because there was nothing. He had followed every rule. Perfectly, on purpose. Now here's the question this video is actually about. David Phillips is not a genius. He's not a billionaire. He's not a tech entrepreneur or a Wall Street trader or someone with access to information the rest of us don't have. He's a civil engineer from Sacramento who spotted something in a grocery store flyer that every other person who picked up that same flyer completely missed. Same flyer, same promotion, same rules, same pudding, different result. Because he asked one question that most people never think to ask. What does this actually say versus what am I assuming it says? That question, applied to a 25-cent cup of chocolate pudding, was worth $800,000. And the lesson hiding inside it is worth considerably more. Spring 1999, a healthy choice. Food's promotion runs in grocery stores across America. The deal is straightforward. Buy 10 Healthy Choice products, save the barcodes, mail them in, receive 500 frequent flyer miles, redeemable on United, Delta, American, or Northwest Airlines. If you mail them before the end of May, you get double miles, 1,000 miles per 10 barcodes. Most people who pick up this flyer see a loyalty reward, a mild incentive to buy a few extra frozen dinners. Maybe worth $2 in travel value if you're already a frequent flyer. Nice, but not life-changing. They pocket the flyer or toss it and keep shopping. What Conagra's marketing department saw when they designed this promotion. Customers who buy a $2.50 frozen dinner and earn 1,000 miles that cost the company maybe 50 cents to fulfill. A reasonable exchange. Good brand loyalty math. What they did not see. A civil engineer with a specific way of reading contracts. David Phillips reads the same flyer, but he doesn't read it the way a shopper reads it. He reads it the way a civil engineer reads a contract, looking for what it specifies and, more importantly, what it does not. The promotion says, any Healthy Choice product. Not, any Healthy Choice frozen dinner. Not, any Healthy Choice product over $1. Not, maximum 10 barcodes per household. Not, 1 submission per customer. Any product, any quantity, any number of submissions. Phillips starts asking the engineer's question. What is the cheapest possible object that qualifies? He goes looking. Frozen dinners are $2 each. Workable but not optimal. Canned soup, 90 cents. Better. Then, at a discount grocery outlet, he finds it. Individual chocolate pudding cups, on clearance. 25 cents each. Each one a separate Healthy Choice product. Each one with its own barcode. Each one fully qualifying for the promotion. He does the math in the store aisle. 10 pudding cups, $250. Result, 1,000 frequent flyer miles. Cost per mile, 0.25 cents. Airlines value miles at approximately 2 cents each. He would be acquiring miles at 1/8 of their market value. At scale. And he is already thinking about scale. This is not a coupon. This is arbitrage. Phillips calculates backward from his target. He wants 1.25 million frequent flyer miles. Enough for his family to travel in first class for years. To get there through the pudding promotion, he needs 12,150 pudding cups before the end of May. He has 3 weeks. He starts driving. Sacramento, Fresno, Stockton. Every discount grocery outlet, every clearance aisle within 50 miles. He buys out entire shelf inventories. When stores run out, he talks to managers and asks them to order more cases from the warehouse. The checkout clerks start to recognize him. They call him the pudding guy. He needs a cover story. He tells them he's stocking up for Y2K, The widespread fear in 1999 that computers would fail at midnight on January 1st, 2000, triggering a global crisis. In that context, a man hoarding 12,000 cups of shelf-stable pudding seemed merely cautious, not insane. Over 3 weeks, his garage transforms into a chocolate pudding warehouse. Floor-to-ceiling boxes. His wife stares at it. "David, what exactly are you doing?" He shows her the spreadsheet, the math, the projected miles. She's not immediately convinced, but she is practical, and she can see the numbers. The promotion requires physical barcodes, not receipts, not photos. The actual labels, peeled off the actual cups, mailed in physical envelopes. 12,150 labels. Phillips, his wife, and his 2 young daughters sit in the garage and start peeling. Their fingers blister, their hands cramp. They are running out of time and running out of fingers. Phillips makes a call. He contacts the local Salvation Army. Here's the offer. He will donate 12,150 cups of chocolate pudding, thousands of dollars in food value, free, delivered to their facility. In exchange, he asks only one thing. Their volunteers peel the labels and return them to him before the end of May. The Salvation Army needs the food. They have the volunteers. Within days, 12,150 neatly peeled labels arrive at his house in stacks. But the brilliance here goes deeper than the labor trade. Under U.S. tax law, donations to registered nonprofit organizations are deductible at retail value, not at the clearance price he paid. He bought the cups for 25 cents each. Their retail value was 89 cents. The IRS doesn't care what he paid. They care what the goods were worth. 12,150 cups at 89 cents retail, $10,113 in deductible donations. He conservatively claims $815 on his taxes. The U.S. government sends him a partial rebate on his pudding investment. The federal government just helped fund his frequent flyer arbitrage, and nobody violated a single rule to make it happen. Phillips mails 256 envelopes. Certified mail. Every tracking number documented. Copies of everything. Receipts, barcodes, proof of purchase. He knows what's coming. When the submission lands at Conagra's processing center, someone notices immediately. 12,150 barcodes. One person, one address, submitted simultaneously. Conagra's legal department assembles. They pull the original promotional documents and go through every word. The promotion says, any healthy choice product. There is no minimum price specified. The promotion says, mail in 10 barcodes. There is no maximum per household. The promotion says, earn 500 miles per submission. There is no cap on the number of submissions. Every angle they probe leads to the same wall. He followed the rules, every single one, exactly as written. Their options narrow fast. They can refuse to honor the promotion. But Phillips has documented everything and would win any resulting lawsuit. They can change the rules, but the promotion period has already ended. They can honor it and hand over 1.25 million frequent flyer miles to a man who spent 3,140 on pudding. The meeting ends without an announcement. 2 months of silence follow. Phillips checks his mailbox every day. Nothing. He calls customer service. He's told his submission is under review. He waits. His friends tell him corporations always find a way out. His wife stops asking about the pudding. Then, 2 months after the submission, a package arrives. Heavy, large. Inside, 2,556 certificates, each worth 500 frequent flyer miles. Total, 1,253,000 miles. Conagra blinked. The rules had been followed. The miles were real, and there was nothing left to do but honor them. Phillips deposits the miles carefully. He diversifies, spreading certificates across United, Delta, and Northwest. But the bulk goes into his American Airlines account. 1,253,000 miles submitted in one transaction. The system flags it instantly. Unusual account activity. At American Airlines Fort Worth headquarters, an analyst opens the alert. One customer, one day, over 1 million miles from a pudding promotion. No fraud history, no chargeback history. Certificate codes verified valid. Promotion terms checked. No submission cap, no per customer limit. Her finger hovers over the fraud department extension. She checks everything again. Then she puts the phone down. She clicks approve. On his computer in Sacramento, Phillips refreshes the page for the 100th time. The number updates. Balance, 153,000 miles. Below it, something he hadn't anticipated. A status update. Lifetime gold. Priority boarding. Free upgrades. Lounge access. Bonus miles on every future flight. For life. He had just purchased lifetime elite status for $2,225. And the airline's own rules made it impossible to take back. The story that ran in the Los Angeles Times in August 1999 and got picked up by CNN, the Wall Street Journal, and Time magazine was about a man who bought a lot of pudding and got a lot of miles. That's accurate. But it's the wrong lesson. The thing David Phillips actually hacked was not a frequent flyer promotion. It was a cognitive bias so universal that it operates in almost every adult brain, every day, without detection. Call it assumption substitution. When we read a set of rules or terms, we don't actually read what the words say. We read what we assume the words must mean, given the context. A grocery store promotion is for regular shoppers buying reasonable quantities of food. That's the assumed frame. Nobody buys 12,000 cups of anything. Therefore, nobody reads the fine print looking for what happens if they do. Conagra's marketing team wrote a promotion they understood. They understood it through the lens of their assumption about consumer behavior. That assumption was accurate for 99.9% of the people who would ever pick up that flyer. It was catastrophically wrong for one civil engineer who refused to read through the lens of what seemed normal. Phillips didn't outsmart Conagra. He simply read what the promotion actually said instead of what it was supposed to say. That gap between the written rule and the assumed meaning of the written rule was worth $800,000. To understand why the pudding hack worked at such a scale, you need to understand what frequent flyer miles actually are. And the answer is not what most people think. Miles are not rewards. They are currency, printed by airlines and sold to banks and credit card companies at 2 to 3 cents each. Every time you swipe a Chase Sapphire or an Amex Platinum, your bank buys miles from the airline and gives them to you as a loyalty incentive. The airline creates each mile at a cost of roughly 0.3 cents. They sell it to the bank for 2 to 3 cents. When you redeem it for a flight, it costs them less than half a cent to fulfill. The profit margin on a frequent flyer mile, from creation to redemption, is somewhere between 300 and 500%. Airlines in the modern era make more money from their loyalty programs than from flying planes. The flights are the delivery mechanism. The miles are the product. Conagra's promotion was an attempt to purchase airline currency at wholesale rates to give away as a customer incentive. A reasonable business decision. Except that they hadn't defined a floor price for the input. They assumed consumers would bring frozen dinners. Phillips brought pudding cups. The same mathematical structure, buy cheap input, generate valuable output, is what hedge funds call arbitrage. What Phillips did in a Sacramento grocery store is structurally identical to what traders do in commodity markets. The only difference is the asset class. When the Los Angeles Times story ran in August 1999, Phillips expected trouble. He expected Conagra to try to revoke the miles. He expected American Airlines to flag the account. Neither happened. The story was already public. Revoking the miles would have made the corporations look like the villains in a story where they were already the ones who wrote a flawed promotion. They let it stand. But something else happened. The travel hacking community. A loose network of frequent flyers, deal hunters, and points enthusiasts read the story and understood it not as entertainment, but as a template. If assumption substitution worked on a grocery promotion, where else was it working? Every loyalty program had rules. Every set of rules was written by people with assumptions about normal behavior. Somewhere in every promotion was a line of fine print that said any and meant something specific, but only to the person who read it as literally as a contract attorney reads a lease. 9 years later, the US government accidentally demonstrated that they had learned nothing from the pudding incident. In 2008, the US Mint launched an online program to increase circulation of the new presidential dollar coins. The deal? Buy coins at face value online with a credit card. Free shipping. The goal was to get metal currency into American wallets. Travel hackers saw it within days. Buy $10,000 in coins on a rewards credit card. Earn 10,000 miles. Deposit the coins at a bank. Use the cash to pay off the card. Net cost? 0. Net reward? 10,000 miles. There was no limit. One hacker bought $100,000 in coins. Then $500,000. Then $1 million. He accumulated 4 million frequent flyer miles before the Mint caught on and closed the program in 2011. Phillips's record? 1.25 million miles for 2,325 hours. The copycat, 4 million miles for $0. The federal government paid for the shipping. The lesson had been taught. Nobody who designed the Mint's coin program had been paying attention. Over the 7 years following the promotion, David Phillips took his family to 40 countries. First-class tickets, hotels, experiences. His daughters grew up seeing the world from the front of the plane because their father spent 3 weeks in 1999 taking a promotional flyer more literally than its authors intended. He still has miles left. He is still technically untouchable. The promotion was honored, the rules were followed, the account is legitimate. There is no mechanism to revoke what was correctly earned. Conagra quietly rewrote their promotional guidelines after 1999. American Airlines added monitoring systems. The specific combination of conditions that made the pudding hack possible has been closed. You cannot do what Phillips did again. Not with pudding. Not with any healthy choice product. The gap has been filled. But that's not really the point. The point is that the gap was there for however many years. Healthy Choice ran promotions before 1999. The gap existed for every person who picked up that flyer. The rules were identical for everyone. The promotion was available to anyone with a grocery store nearby and a credit card. The difference was not access. It was not resources. Phillips spent $3,740, which is a real amount of money, but not an insurmountable one for most working adults. The difference was one question, asked at the right moment, by someone who had trained himself to read what words actually say instead of what he assumed they must mean. Every contract you've ever signed, every terms of service you've scrolled past, every promotion, every loyalty program, every employee handbook, every insurance policy, all of them written by people who had assumptions about normal behavior, all of them containing somewhere a line that says any.